Hello and welcome back to everyone watching. On this episode, we have another interesting topic. This time around, we're not talking about internet use, but instead, we're talking about a great opportunity, which is Growth Accelerator Programs for tech entrepreneurs here in Malawi. So with me, I have a special guest, someone who's been involved in the Growth Accelerator Program for a while now. I'm going to give them the opportunity to continue the introduction by themselves. So over to you.
Thank you, Phyllis. And it's good to be back on your podcast. My second time. Yeah. I'm Vincent Kumwenda. I wear many hats, but for this episode, I'm coming in as someone who is very passionate about innovation, entrepreneurship, and technology in Malawi. And like you said, we are here to share an opportunity, especially for tech and digital entrepreneurs, which is called the Growth Accelerator Program, which has been running for quite some time. But now I think we're zeroing in more on how tech and digital entrepreneurs can benefit from it.
So from my understanding, the Growth Accelerator Program is a collaboration between the Landell Mills project, the UNDP, and a few other players in the sector. Can you elaborate more on that?
Yeah. So basically, the Growth Accelerator Malawi program is a 12 months business accelerator program targeting young, impactful, and innovative ventures across Malawi and all other industries. It's been running from around 2018. And as of now, they've supported over 97 businesses. So what they do is they provide, first of all, co-financing. Businesses are able to get up to $40,000 per business. And then they participate in an acceleration program where now they get technical assistance for 12 months. And then they also have opportunity to link up with mentors, whether from a business perspective or even technical perspective. So it's supported financially by UNDP, and they also get support from the German Development Corporation. They also get support from the government of Norway and even KfW Development Bank. But in terms of the actual management, it's now managed by Landell Mills International in partnership with the Imani Development Malawi.
All right, great. So the three things that I picked up is this program is providing technical assistance, mentorship, and funding.
Yes,
but on the funding, you said something called co-financing.
Yeah.
So you're not financing, but you're co-financing. Could you elaborate more on what exactly that entails?
Yeah. So in the investment world, there is something called matching grants. So what the Growth Accelerator is doing is more like matching grants. They are able to provide 70% of the 40,000 as unrestricted funding. So you are assured of that 70% that they give you. But the 30%, you have to show your own commitment as an entrepreneur. And even that is also done through different options. You can either self-match using your own funds if you have. You can partner with a bank, which they are working with. They're working with National Bank. But you can also get other investors, so like angel investors or venture capitalists here in Malawi. Yeah. There are some who are participating in the program. So you talk to them and then they give you the 30% that adds on top of the 70% that UNDP is already providing through the Growth Accelerator Fund. That's where now, I think the whole idea is that an entrepreneur should be able to put their skin in the game. They should also show commitment beyond just getting free money and then using it like that.
All right, great. And a little bit more on the financing as well. You said they're giving up to $40,000, not they're giving $40,000. So this means you can get somewhere within that range, or your business has to require $40,000, and then you, I don't know, do the matching and stuff.
Yeah, that's an interesting angle to put it. Yes, it's up to $40,000. The whole idea is that you can get the whole 40,000 based on the capacity of your business to absorb the 40,000.
Okay.
I know in Malawi, everyone would want the maximum, but then some businesses are not even at that level.
Yeah.
So some of them would just request 10,000, some would request 20,000, depending on how the business is structured. So the team at Landell Mills would also do that assessment to see that as much as you've probably applied for the whole 40,000, but looking at the way your business is structured and the capacity of the business, maybe you can only absorb this much. So the whole 40,000 is available up for grabs, but also dependent on your capacity as a business.
All right. Okay, great. So one thing to understand about the businesses that you're approaching. So the type of entrepreneur I would say that you're approaching, are you approaching businesses that are providing services to consumers or business to business models, or what type of businesses are you approaching when it comes to this?
Yeah. So so basically it's a bit of both. But there are key things that they're looking for. I think the key thing that they're looking for is they should have like a strong business model that is sustainable. And then working with the entities like UNDP, they also look for social impact. How are you impacting people on the value chain? Is it how are you addressing youth issues like women issues and all that in your business? Yeah. So if it's a B2C, that is also having an element of social impact, even good. If you are a B2B and you also have elements of social impact and you've got a sustainable business model, they're also okay. But what I'm focused on now is so the way the Growth Accelerator is structured, they run cohorts. They've been running cohorts from 2018. Right now, they've just launched cohort 9 and cohort 10. What struck me a lot is the cohort 9, which is specifically zeroing in on businesses around tech and digital innovations. Cohort 10 is looking at women entrepreneurs. So you can have any other business, but if you're a women entrepreneur, you can participate. But for cohort 9, which is striking where like my passion lies, technology, because people have been complaining that there are no specific like funding opportunities for tech businesses in Malawi. Yeah. So Growth Accelerator is challenging tech businesses that come forward with your business models, and then we're going to give you $40,000 technical assistance and also mentorship.
All right, great. So now let's talk about industries. Is a Growth Accelerator program specific to a certain industry? Because you talked about social impact, you talked about women and the youth, or is this something that is approaching pretty much any industry, agriculture, health, education, those, or is there any specific area that the program is kind of looking into?
No, it's open. It's open to any industry. Out of the 97 businesses that have been supported so far, you find entrepreneurs in different spaces, agriculture. There are some who have touched on tech a little bit. Yeah. There are some who are doing real estate. There are some who are doing education, health. So they're open to any industry. But what they do sometimes is they focus on specific areas. Like in this case, that they've opened a particular window for tech businesses. Yeah. Simply because I think we've not seen a lot of tech businesses coming forward with the business models, and a lot of opportunities, financing opportunities out there have not been targeting tech industries. So they're like, okay, let's open up a call for like businesses in the tech space. I think at some point they also opened up a call for businesses when we had COVID-19, I think 2020, 2021. Yeah. There was also a special window that was targeting businesses that are addressing COVID-related issues and all that. So they are very flexible in terms of industries, and then they also have opportunities to zero into particular windows that they open up. Yeah.
All right, great. So one of the other things that I wanted to ask is, when we look at the tech industry in Malawi, there are a few known names when it comes to businesses that stand out, or any tech opportunity that is out there. Yeah. You see that it's usually the same names that are always mentioned. Yeah. So there are other businesses that are the B2B business models. I mean, some are working in education, some are providing software solutions, but you see that it's usually the same names. Yeah. So when it comes to the Growth Accelerator Program, is there a way that, I don't know, you're encouraging even the smallest of entrepreneurs to be like, okay, you can put your foot in the game, or like try this out and see if there's an opportunity for you here?
Yeah. Actually, this whole program is meant for emerging entrepreneurs.
Okay.
Literally emerging entrepreneurs. Of course, there's a criteria that is supposed to meet, but the whole idea is the businesses that have been in operation at least for 2 years, but they've been generating revenue for at least a year. So you might be operating for 2 years, but maybe the first year you are exploring and maybe working on your research and development, and then you started generating revenue at some point along the way. So because it's an acceleration program, it's different from an incubation program where you can come in with an idea and then they help you to structure a business model and all that. But an acceleration program would be entirely focused on what are called post-revenue businesses. So you should bring in at least an element of
making
money at least, so that it can help you to scale whatever you're doing. So there is that, and it's open. You can do education technologies, you can do health technologies, agriculture technologies. There's fintech these days. A lot of companies that are coming up with fintech. Now to address your issue of the same names and the same people coming forward with business models, it's not like lack of skills or lack of capacity for tech people in Malawi. To me, I think having interacted with a lot of entrepreneurs over the years and interacted with a lot of tech people over the years, the issue has been more on the proper business models in the tech space. People are very skilled. Sometimes young people would just go online on Google, they search for a solution, they develop a solution, they will delve a lot more on the functionality of the solution, maybe without thinking about how am I going to make money out of this, and how am I going to build a business out of this. So it's packaging, like a proper packaging of the skills that they do have, zero into a particular product, start looking for business, start making revenue, and move on. So I think that's where now this program is coming in very, very handy for a lot of young people who have been doing business. So what I've been doing personally is to coach civil entrepreneurs. I sit down with them, look at what they're working on, how can they package it into something that can qualify for this, and even set a foundation for them to move forward as a business. Because there are a lot of young people. You agree with me? I think you've gone to a lot of hackathons, a lot of pitching competitions. You find a young person today, they pitch about an app that they've developed. But sometimes they fail to answer question, how are they going to get money out of that? And then 2 years down the line, that app is dead because they don't think about the business model aspect. So if they have that app, they've thought through about the business model and they've generated revenue for quite some time, they can be able to qualify for this, and they'll get even more support to build something that is sustainable and long-lasting.
All right. Okay. So what I'm understanding here is like the way that these businesses are packaging themselves could be kind of what makes or breaks your idea or your business. So I know you've mentioned some of these things, but I would like you to kind of just specifically say what exactly the Growth Accelerator Program is looking for how should these businesses package themselves for a successful application. Because I understand that, I mean, in applications, maybe some people are not communicating what you want to see when you're looking for the criteria. So how should these entrepreneurs package their business to qualify for this opportunity?
I think I should start with the eligibility criteria. How does a business qualify for this, especially for cohort 9? Some of them are similar to other cohorts like cohort 10, but first of all, they have to be registered as a for-profit enterprise in Malawi with a business license that it can be seen. I think when the team comes in, they should be able to see that you've got a business license. It takes 2-3 days these days to register a business online, and then you've got a business license. So even between now and the time that they're closing, somebody can register their business. They should also be ventures which are utilizing technology, innovation, and digital solutions to address critical social challenges. So on this one, it's very, very critical because the Growth Accelerator opened up a call in October last year, and a lot of people applied, but most of the people were not able to meet this criteria of digital solutions. So people would just talk about, for instance, I'll give you an example. Someone would talk about, I use Facebook for digital marketing as a digital solution. So you would apply that this is a digital company that I'm applying for. So you're definitely not qualifying because your centered model, your business model is not centered on something digital. You're just using it as probably an outlet or a marketing tool and all that. So a lot of people would apply in that regard. So you should utilize technology. There should be some element of technology, innovation, and digital solution. And then you should have a product or service on the market that has been operating for at least 1 year.
1 year.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there are two things there. Number one, you should have a product. Most people who are applying would not even pinpoint to a particular product or service that they do have. They'll tell you, I do everything. I develop websites, I do graphic design, I do this. But what's your product that you're bringing out there?
Yeah.
What sort of problem are you solving with that product or service that you are offering?
Yeah.
They should be operational for not less than 2 years. I mentioned that. They should also demonstrate sound financial practices, such as basic bookkeeping. So some people, it's difficult to separate an individual from the business. Every money that you make goes to your mouth, and then you're not able to keep track of what you're making.
Yeah.
So at least a basic bookkeeping, some records at least. They're not asking for audits. They're not asking for like complex financial like reports and all that, but just even basic bookkeeping records. And then you should be able to generate revenue for at least 1 year. And then the other thing, because of the co-financing aspect, you should also have capacity to co-finance the 50%, the 30%.
30%, yeah.
30%. So either you talk to a bank, either you use your self-financing, or you talk to an investor who is available, but you should demonstrate that you're able to raise 30%. So that 30% would be of how much you're asking for. If you're asking for 10,000, then your 30% would be like 3,000. So you should be able to do that. And then they're also asking that the founder should, at least one of the founders should have full-time involvement in the business.
Okay.
Yeah, these people are investing a lot of money in the business. So they need someone who can be found all the time, and also someone who can attend all the trainings, all the workshops, all the mentorship programs and all that. Okay. Not that today you are there, tomorrow you are there. And so they need someone who is at least dedicated. You can have a team of 20, you can have a team of 5, but at least one person should be dedicated. And then there's also an element of young people. So they're looking for youthful entrepreneurs aged up to a maximum 45 years old.
Okay, 45.
Yeah, 45, yeah.
Minimum.
So, as long as you're able to do business. So yeah, if you're 80 years old and then you're able to run a business. So, but you should be a youthful entrepreneur aged up to a maximum 45 years old.
Okay.
And another one is the eligible participants cannot have gone through a previous cohort of Growth Accelerator. So because they've already funded over 97 businesses, those are not eligible to apply now. So they're looking for fresh businesses and fresh ideas for this. So basically, that's what you need to qualify.
Okay.
Most of the businesses that I've interacted with, even young people that I've interacted with, they meet some of these criteria. They just need to be directed towards the right angles and how to package, even when they are applying for this.
All right. Yeah, that's why you came up with the coaching sessions that you've been doing.
Yes.
Which is something that's great, actually, because I don't think there's many opportunities out there that are willing to coach you to apply for the opportunity that they want to give you. Yeah. So that's actually something that is very well appreciated. Yeah. The other thing that I wanted to know is from the previous cohorts, what are some of the outstanding success stories that you've had from the previous cohorts and how they went about the applications and how they packaged themselves well to gain these opportunities? Yeah.
So two things. I think the first one is there's been a lot of successes out of this. Since I'm not like 100% on the program with the Landell Mills International and the one implementing, I think the numbers will come from them. But I know that jobs have been created. There are a lot of jobs that have been created from the 97 businesses that they've been operating with. And then there are also a lot of lives that have been impacted along the different value chains and all that. But the businesses that have gone there, they are very good examples of businesses that some of them are still standing up to now. So there are businesses that have been making like yogurt. I know a medical diagnostic center that qualified. Okay. I know people who have been working on content. I know people who have been making like fish farming, actual farming. I think there's a drone company that has also been contracted, and they're doing well at the moment. They've structured things. One of my favorite companies was I think because of the unrestricted fund usage. There's a company multiple companies that have bought machinery from China. They'll buy machinery from China through the grant, bring it here, install it, and use it. I know companies that have bought delivery vans from the program. So they would buy delivery vans, refrigerated vans, and then they deliver their products and all that. There are honey product companies that have been participating in the program, and they've really grown from where they were to like bigger entities now through the support that they are getting here. So imagine a tech company that you're just given 40,000 and unlimited funding. So that means you're able to expand and scale what you're able to do. Because I know some of the entrepreneurs that we've been interacting with, they just need like safer space. Some of them just need like strong financial backings for them to sustain some of the e-commerce platforms, fintech platforms. Some are struggling with funding to pay for regulatory fees, whether with the Reserve Bank of Malawi or MACLA for courier companies and other things. So this funding would come in and support such those fees and
All right. So that was about the eligibility criteria. And I mean, you've spoken a lot about the Growth Accelerator programs, and we can see that it's something that is actually really helping young entrepreneurs here in Malawi. But now overall, there are a lot of I would say things that are happening in this space, like the funding space, where there's a lot of issues that come up when you fund projects in Malawi, in Africa, and then, So one of the main issues that I've seen of late is sustainability, where after the funding, you get the funding, you operate, you get the support, the mentorship, the assistance. But after all that is done, then the project is also done. So that's one of the challenges that we've seen with a lot of projects here in Malawi. I don't know if is there anything that the Accelerator program is doing to ensure that that is not an issue, like to maintain the sustainability of these projects?
I'll answer that in general. So I think there's a difference between entrepreneurs who are serious about their business and they just need a financial injection or even sometimes technical assistance for them to move to the next level. They're in business, whatsoever happens. So they are already they've already made up their mind they're going to run business, whether there's funding or not, and all that. So they probably already have a product and a market for it. All they need is support maybe to scale and all that. And then there's another crop of entrepreneurs in quotes who are hopping from one grant to another. So they just create an idea for the sake of the grant. So already, I think some have already set up an idea. Okay, there's this grant that comes. I'll just create this to participate, and then when it ends, I also end, or I move on to the next grant that is available and all that. I think that is what is killing the space at the moment, because there are a lot of people who you find them in this program today. 2 years down the line, they're pitching the same idea to another program and all that. And you ask them, what have you done the last 2 years that has moved you to the next level? Even without funding, even without proper support, there should be something that you are working towards a particular idea that it moves from one shape to another shape. So there are those that would go in for years and years just moving from one grant to another. So programs like this, I think the whole idea of having, first of all, you need to have a business that is structured. So they're looking for structure. And then you see from the criteria, they're also looking for the right people. When an investor is investing in people, sometimes you don't invest really in the business aspect, but you invest more in the person. So you see, does this person have the right characteristics to run this business? Because this idea can be in someone's hand, but if they don't have the characteristics, they're not able to run it. So the Growth Accelerator program is combining a bit of both. They're looking at the person running the business, they're looking at the business, and they're looking at structures within the business that will make sure that it's sustainable. So that's why they're looking at the registration aspect, they're looking at the financing aspect, the bookkeeping aspect, they're looking at the business itself, and they're looking at the person running the business. How are they structured? How matured are they in terms of running the business? So there are those things. I think it's a model that we should be able to take even in other grants and other programs that are there. Malawi is not sure of investment opportunities. Not to take. I think just on top of my head, I can tell you about the Agicom. Agicom is supporting a lot of entrepreneurs in that space. They could be in agriculture, but Agicom, there's been Finance, there's been Mike, there's been Growth Accelerator. Growth Accelerator, they also have,
I think as well.
Money Fund as well, taking tech. So if you're a serious entrepreneur and you take advantage of all these grants, you can be able to start a business, build it, sustain it, and you can actually use these grants as stepping stones. If you're moving from one step, you achieve a particular milestone, you move to another grant, and then eventually you qualify. UNDP has what they call Malawi Innovation Challenge Fund, which starts from around $500,000 US. It's 50-50 matching. So if you participate in this, the whole idea is that you create a pipeline. You can start from as low as Zanchito program, which or Money Fund. You go as far as participating in the Malawi Innovation Challenge Fund, and even stand alone and start attracting investment even from outside, Series A, Series B, and getting a lot of venture capitals to invest in your business.
Yeah. I mean, the funding thing has been kind of a very, I don't want to say touchy subject, but I mean, when you look at the tech ecosystem in Africa per se, like there's a lot of things that are happening when it comes to funding. And obviously there are the countries that are always mentioned when it comes to funding. And I mean, seeing that there's opportunities like this for Malawi, for me, is encouraging, especially for tech entrepreneurs, because you don't see a lot of opportunities in the space. You don't see a lot of funding opportunities or whatever in the space when it comes to tech. So for me, this is encouraging. But then talking about tech ecosystems, this is providing mentorship and technical assistance as well. So when you look at ecosystems, there are a lot of players. It's not just entrepreneurs. There's a lot of players. And I had another conversation where one thing that was said was that these accelerator programs also have to make sure that they're curating programs that kind of, what do you call it? That kind of speak to the people in that space. You're not bringing in things that have nothing to do with those entrepreneurs, because I think even these accelerator programs themselves are also programs that are getting funding from somewhere. So it's easy to create a program and be like, hey, I have this program, I'll find these entrepreneurs, but it's not really helping anyone. So I don't know how specific this has been in kind of being the right, like making sure that it is the right program and helping entrepreneurs, especially the tech entrepreneurs, since this is kind of something that people who are just starting out can take advantage of, and to ensure that we're not even getting to that place where we have people who are just jumping from one program to the next. So I don't know.
It's an interesting topic. Actually, we should have time to talk about it later.
That's a
separate topic. Because I think having been at MHub for like 7 years, designing some of these innovation and acceleration programs, I've learned a lot about the ecosystem in Malawi from when it was in its very early stages to where it is now. So yes, there are a lot of lessons to be learned from there. And there's a lot that can be done. But what I believe in is that in Malawi, we've got a very big opportunity. You mentioned about in Africa, what has been going on in Africa. So it's called like the African Triangle, Lagos, Nairobi, Cape Town. Yeah, the three, that's where all the funding goes. And all the other countries are insignificant in that. But what it means is that these countries have also made mistakes along the way. So countries like Malawi have like a very good opportunity to learn what worked and did not work in Kenya, what worked and did not work in Nigeria, and what worked and did not work in South Africa, and start afresh. We are starting afresh now and put up structures. So there's like a whole ecosystem building that needs to happen from a policy perspective, program perspective, skills perspective, funding perspective, infrastructure perspective. So we need to start thinking about all those elements and how they fit together at the moment, and how so the innovation hubs, the accelerator programs are just a very small piece of this, but how do they fit into the bigger picture? And who are they reporting to? Who is regulating them? Who is coordinating the impact? Because by now, I think 10 or so years down the line, we need to have these in almost all the districts. Who is getting like opportunities or ideas from Chitipa, Kalonga, and who is looking at energy, who is looking at agriculture and all those things. So there's a whole conversation that we need to have around how to run this. So yes, Growth Accelerator is doing this, but it's a part that is happening. I think there are other entities that are also running their own accelerator and innovation programs and all that. But eventually, we should all be putting our efforts into a particular element, and in that way, it should be easy for us to measure the impact. In other countries, they would have even policy direction, like I think Nigeria, Rwanda, Senegal, Tunisia, they have startup acts. I think Zambia has also just passed their own startup act. Uganda, they're working on startup acts. So those are very, very, very critical to determine. So it determines how the space is collaborated, how impact is measured, how funding is distributed, even the focus areas and all that. So that is a very important question that we need to address at a later stage. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think now that response really has just brought a lot of things that have kind of been topics of conversation when it comes to growing the tech space or like digital developments. Like you've spoken about infrastructure, which is something I wanted to ask initially.
Yeah.
And now policy, like the acts and everything, which honestly, we need to have a separate conversation when it comes to that.
Yeah.
But just to speak about the infrastructure, that's one of the main challenges that we've been seeing. We spoke about someone having an e-commerce platform, but you don't have an address to the person you want to send the package to because we don't have streets addresses in Malawi.
We have now.
We do, but do they work?
Postcodes, yes, we've got postcodes now.
But do they?
So Makla is working around the clock to like kind of create awareness. They're working now to create awareness around how people can use the postcodes and all that. I think just a few days ago, they were even talking to real estate companies that they should adopt the national addressing system. So they've got a whole concept of national addressing system that they've been working for quite some time now, but now it's ready and they're doing a lot of awareness around that. So in e-commerce, and the good thing with that is that because Makla is also working with courier companies, they're kind of a regulator for courier companies. So they're also supporting that they can adopt the national addressing system. But it's a big thing that is working now. I think it's now up to the public to adopt it and use it in most of the critical areas. Yeah.
That's very interesting because now I'm also seeing opportunities there for tech companies to be like, hey, we can be the first adopters of this. We'll use this, or even in collaboration with Makra to show people that this is working. So that's an opportunity there.
If you ask me, I stay in area 25. I use my postcode in area 25 in all my communications.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
There's a whole formula around it. Yeah.
That's interesting. But then, I mean, you know about it. I think I've seen it, but I don't know how recently I've seen the thing about the postcodes. But the other thing that's interesting, okay, maybe this is slightly off topic, but keeping up to date with what's happening. So my car Bluetooth wasn't working and I started listening to the radio. That's how I found out that PPDA is now digitized and you're supposed to be sending your tenders and stuff online, which for me was very interesting. And now I have to listen to the radio more actually because I'm missing out.
It's called Maneps,
when I don't listen to the radio, I'm missing out on these updates. But the infrastructure thing is still a challenge. It's not only just the postcodes. There's a lot of things, basic infrastructure. We always talk about electricity, roads, power, whatever. So for companies that want to apply for the Growth Accelerator Program, they're working in an area that has terrible infrastructure. Are you still giving them like, okay, I don't know, for example, I'll go back to the e-commerce, whatever. If you have an app to deliver like food delivery service or something, are you still giving them the opportunity to be like, hey, this is a possibility because now we have the postcodes or something. Are you still giving them or are they still going to get the opportunity even though the infrastructure there is bad and the numbers that they get might not be the best, even if they have a digital solution because of poor infrastructure?
Yeah. Actually, from memory, I know that Growth Accelerator has supported an e-commerce platform before.
Okay.
Operating in the same infrastructure.
Okay.
There was a company that was given $40,000 to work on a delivery app. They already had a delivery app, and they needed to scale, and they were able to purchase even more fleet, more motorcycles, and all that to do that.
Yeah.
So as much as we've got infrastructure challenges, it also opens up to opportunities. Say some tech companies. So I think the mistake that we're making is we are limiting tech companies to software and those that are leveraging on apps and all that. But even from within the hardware space, internet service provision, or even cloud computing, there are some companies that can come up with a product around that space, package it well, and probably offer that kind of services to other entrepreneurs, and they'll be able to qualify for this, and they'll be able to get support to even to scale a lot more. So even opportunities to do last mile connectivity to the most remote areas. It's an opportunity. It's a business opportunity for someone to address such infrastructure challenges. It's simple. We've got Starlink now, satellite internet. But not everyone is able to afford Starlink, even in the rural areas. How about you take your Starlink and get your own ISP and push it out in the remotest area and package it in a way that someone will see some innovation around it and all that. So even hardware, I think they are companies that are doing, 3D printing. I think there's a company in Atlanta doing 3D printing. There are companies manufacturing drones right here in Malawi and all that. So there are opportunities that are there even within the limited infrastructure. So I think as long as they meet these criteria, they're able to fit that. They are able to get like funding. So I think that's where maybe a bit of more in-depth discussions with would-be entrepreneurs is important. There are some who might not qualify for this now. They look at their business, they see that maybe they're not generating revenue, they're not maybe structured, they're not registered and all that. But this Growth Accelerator comes almost every year. So essentially, they can look at it and target the next one. So the next one, we will qualify. So what do? We start selling a product now to generate revenue and have records that we have been generating revenue for the last 12 months, and then we're able to qualify for this and do all the other eligibility criteria that they need to meet. So it's a very exciting opportunity. And for tech companies, $40,000 can do a lot. And you can do like proper things.
Anyway, this has been a very interesting conversation for me. And I think every time I have these conversations, I want to go from one topic and then start talking about something else. Because when you were saying we are always thinking of software like apps, really, there's a lot that is happening in the tech space. And one thing that just came to my mind is I remembered that I have a friend, of course, they're in South African. They have an IoT company. So they make their own boards. People use Arduino boards.
Arduino boards,
They created their own board. They're not using that. And they say it's cheaper and everything. But even though they provide IoT solutions, they use their boards to teach people like IoT programming and stuff in TVET colleges. So the business model really isn't just, okay, we'll provide you IoT solutions, but they're also contributing to education in that country. So really, there's a lot of innovation that has take place here. And there's a lot to think about, I think, when you're creating a very good business model. But all these conversations are going to lead to more conversations that need to be had. But I'm very excited for maybe just the people who are going to watch this, the entrepreneurs, and even people who are like, hey, I have this idea, I can create this and stuff. So I'm very excited for them. And I think earlier we spoke about this other thing, like most times people who are very technical, they know, they're like, okay, I can create this solution. But the business side, we need to accept that you need help. Sometimes you need help. You need a business development manager. You need someone in charge of finances, marketing, because you might know the solution, you might have the solution, but you can't do everything.
And probably even market it and all that. So
Exactly.
Partnerships and collaboration are essential to this. I think it's also something that we're struggling with in Malawi. I know that a typical Malawian would rather have 100% of zero than to share something with someone else. I know people who would vow that I started this myself and I'll kill it myself.
Exactly.
Rather than maybe share ideas with someone that can help them to run. So partnerships, collaboration, you might be good in skills, but you need someone to figure out how to generate revenue and probably market your product.
Exactly.
You need someone to navigate around the regulatory space and all that. So it's better to share, open up and seek for someone to help you with all that. And then I think the opportunity is also something that when you go to this program, beyond the money part, the technical assistance will help you to start looking at those elements of your idea or your entity as a business. So they take you through the different aspects of what a business is supposed to meet and how it scales. By the end of the 12 months that you graduate from this, you have like a well-structured business and you have got a very good understanding as a founder and your team of how the business is supposed to be structured and how it can scale from there. And even more opportunity, you also learn from other people within the space that what they're doing and how they're doing it. It's important to say that this opportunity opened. They launched it on 1st April, and they are going to close on 2nd May.
2nd May.
Yeah, 2nd May, midnight, 2nd May. People can apply. They can go to www.growmalawi.org. They can download a form, the application form. There's an application form, and then they can also apply right there on the website. These are tech people. They don't need to write a letter and drop it at Growth Accelerator offices. They just go online and apply, and they will hear from the team whether they've been taken to the next level or not. But it's an exciting opportunity to all the entrepreneurs out there, tech entrepreneurs. We've been complaining about opportunities in the space. This is an opportunity that has been given to us directly focused on tech and the digital businesses. So we don't know if it's going to come again, but let's grab this one and make use of it. And probably we can be talking about the next digital unicorn in Malawi in the next couple of years.
All right. So we've heard a lot about the accelerator program. Sounds exciting. And I hope that a lot of people are going to take up this opportunity and get this. And hopefully it's going to boost their businesses. So my final question to you is just going to be, what's the one thing that you're very excited about to see when it comes to the tech space or the tech industry here in Malawi for this year and beyond?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. I already have an answer for that because I'm kind of on a mission. My mission is to produce two things.
Yeah.
First of all, to be part of an ecosystem that is able to produce a unicorn in the next 5 years. So we should have a business that fits into unicorn status, $1 million US, something like that, that is able to generate a business that is locally grown and all that. And number two, a digital product that has been developed here in Malawi and used by everyone else, like the one, like the way we do with Facebook, WhatsApp, and all that, but something that has been developed by a Malawian, locally grown, and then everyone from Chitipa to Sanje, they cannot wake up in the morning, run through the day without interfacing with that product. So whether it comes from me personally, or whether it comes from the initiatives that I support, or the programs that I participate in, my contribution is I need to be there and support whoever has got such an idea, whatever program is working on that. That's why I'm very passionate about these things. I'll go into places that I just have to be there and participate in these things because I think what I know is, and what I believe in is that Malawi has got a very, very, very huge potential to leverage on digital to solve some of the issues that we're facing.
Yeah.
Some of the issues that we're facing are a matter of life and death, a matter of economy and all that. So all those issues can easily be solved by technology and even digital technology, whether it's AI, blockchain, or IoT, or any other technology that we have out there. So we're sitting on a very, very good opportunity as a country. We just don't realize it yet. That's what I'm looking at. And finally, I'm working on something with a team. So basically, we can export digital talent in Malawi. So from any district, young people can be trained to do whether it's digital jobs, like a few computers put in a space, and then people can be able to provide like actual jobs. It's called business process outsourcing. The things that maybe India was doing call centers in the past, but now it's happening in form of data annotation, image annotation, and then just sitting down in your computer. So what I believe in is a young person sitting in Chikwawa with a good brain, with a good laptop and good internet can be able to generate money sitting inside their room, and they just need an idea and a push from someone like me or someone outside in the space to help them see what's going on out there.
All right, great. Thanks. That sounds very exciting, actually.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, so thank you so much for the session. And I think I said this before. You said you were providing coaching for people who want to apply for the Growth Accelerator Program.
Yeah.
Just wanted you to let us know if you have any specific dates or locations, if it's online, just specify a little bit more on that so that if people are trying to apply for this, how can they do the applications?
So I'm doing a Twitter space today, April 17th, 7 p.m. On Twitter. I'm doing a physical event at Synergy in Area 12 tomorrow, 18th April, from 9 o'clock. So it'll be both the group coaching to share what Growth Accelerator is all about and other opportunities, and then also one-on-one with the different entrepreneurs that will be there if they want to us to sit down and look at their business, whether they qualify and what they can, how they can work on the application. And we'll sit down and do the actual application together even. And then I know that the Tech Malawi community is very active on Discord. We have got a session on Discord. One of these days, we are yet to agree on the date. And then we also have a lot of conversations on WhatsApp groups. I think there are 5 or 6 WhatsApp groups around tech that I'm in, and I'm participating in conversations with the people to make sure that this time around, I think we should not let this pass. Otherwise, the sponsor, the donor, will take back their money and say that tech space in Malawi is not
serious.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. So for everyone who's looking to apply for this, don't forget the deadline is 2nd of May at midnight. Make sure you send in your application by then. So thank you so much for answering the questions and letting us know more about the program. Until next time, goodbye.
Thank you.
I think that works.
The ending,